Okay, it says live, so I'm going to assume we are live. How are you doing, everyone? Welcome back for a little bit of SPTV. Remember, guys, every day is a great day not to be in a cult. Guys, we need to talk. It's been too long. I haven't done one of these, I guess a Q&A video or just a chat video in a while. I've been trying to get rededicated and refocused on doing the types of topical videos that was really my specialty when the channel was blowing up. And I'm trying to get back to that, trying to get back into the groove on that. And also I've been focusing on getting the second channel up and running. And now that the Clips channel is fully monetized, I'm trying to focus my attention on getting back on the main channel. Well, this channel, you guys, getting back to not just the 15, 20, 25 minute tight topical videos that I used to do, but also trying to get back to doing a lot of the long form interviews that I used to do. I love doing those types of interviews. And it's also a great way to introduce new people to the community, tell new stories. And well, you've seen, I've done a couple of those recently. And so on the main channel, I'm going to be doing the long form interviews, and even this video today, like this is going to be a chat video. This is going to be a Q&A video, but we're going to go for a couple hours tonight. Now I'm prepared for a couple hours. I got my water, just had a protein shake. I'm ready to go. But like, for example, we're going to do a Q&A video tonight. So that's a heads up, guys. If you guys, I'm going to have Barb in the back office starring comments for me. Throw some questions in there. I'll tackle as many questions as I can. I just lost my train of thought. Okay, so tonight we're going to do a Q&A video. I have a topic I want to start out by I want to start out with discussing. But I'm going to take my time answering questions. If I take 5 minutes to answer a question, if I take 10 minutes to answer a question, if I get going on a topic, I'll break that out in its own standalone video, and I'll upload it on the Clips channel. The Clips channel is growing up in Scientology Clips. And because I'm rambling, you guys, but that's okay. We're going to be here for a couple hours, so rambling is okay. If I do, let's take, for example, the first interview that I ever did with Natalie Webster. That was a 4-hour interview. I have actually never yet taken the time to go back and go through that whole interview and put in all the timestamps for the different subjects. But once I do that, there's probably like 10 or 15 breakout segments that I would want to publish as their own standalone videos so that people can hear what Natalie has to say on certain subjects. But I get worried about overwhelming my current subscribers with so many notifications that they start to either tune out or they get annoyed. God forbid they unsubscribe because like, I just don't need all the notifications. Some people, instead of turning off notifications, will just unsubscribe from a channel. That's always a bit of an insecurity that I've had, a bit of a concern as far as posting clips of my longer form content. And this is one of the great things about having a Clips channel, is that people who subscribe to a Clips channel, that's what they expect from a Clips channel. And it's up to them, turn notifications on, turn notifications off. But if we use Lex Fridman as an example, Lex Fridman does 3-4 hour interviews all the time, but on his Clips, and that's maybe a couple times a week, maybe 3 times a week, you're going to get an upload on Lex Fridman's main channel. But on his Clips channel, he will sometimes upload as many as 15 to 20 clips a day, depending on what he's got going on. I mean, he published an interview the other day that was an 8-hour video. I think it was, he started out the 8-hour video by interviewing Elon Musk, but then he interviewed a bunch of people who worked at Elon's Neuralink company. And he just published it as an 8-hour interview. Well, I checked his Clips channel. I'm like, oh my God, what does his Clips channel look like? I swear to God, he publishes like, he was publishing like 20 clips a day. There's another channel that I got to know while I was still uploading, Danny Masterson content. That channel is called JD Delay. A lot of you guys might know JD Delay. He's one of these guys who has like a sort of a recovery kind of put your life back together channel. He's a former inmate, and I can't remember if he's if he's in recovery or not. I don't remember. But I go to his channel just to see what's going on sometimes. I don't know how he does it, but he uploads as much as 20 YouTube shorts a day. Guys, if I upload 3 a day, I start getting complaints. I don't know. And I guess it's just the thing about whether your whether your audience is accustomed to getting a certain type of content from you. Yeah, I mean, some of you guys have already been with me for like 7, 8, 9 years, but I'm not going to lie. I get a little jealous when I go over to JD's channel and I see him uploading 20 clips a day, and I don't see anyone complaining in his comment section about, if you keep doing this, I'm going to have to unsubscribe. And so it's just been a real problem I've been struggling with, because there's things that I want to do, but I'm afraid if I do them, they're going to mess up the main channel. So anyway, guys, that's the theory behind the Clips channel. You know, the funny thing is, you guys that have been with me so long, the guys who've been with me for so long aren't the type of guys who are like, if I get too many notifications, I'm going to unsubscribe. At the end of the day, anyone who's got a YouTube channel has got to do whatever they love and whatever they're passionate about and whatever they think is going to be best for them and their channel. And really, the healthiest way to look at it is, if you're doing what you think is right and if you're doing what you love, the people that stay with you is the audience that you want anyway. So it's probably a little wrong-headed to stress about it too much. But what can I say? I'm an overthinker. I'm an overstressor. I like thinking. I like stressing. It's what I do. It drives me. It helps me come up with solutions. And so that's what I'm doing, guys. That is what I'm doing. I'm seeing some questions about, what the hell am I standing up, or what am I doing? Guys, I got these new chairs that, okay, you guys that have been with me for a while, you notice that I used to always sit in a chair, and I like sitting a little askew in my chair, and it's weird. You could always see my chair behind me off to the side. You notice the last 2 or 3 weeks, it looks like I'm not even sitting in a chair. You can't see anything. It's because I got these new special fancy chairs. They're disgustingly expensive, but I figured, what the hell? And I can sit in it backwards. I can sit in it sideways, and I'm sitting in my chair backwards right now. It's extremely comfortable. I can rest my elbows here. It helps my lower back, and I'm loving it. And you guys know, hey, if I'm comfortable, that means I'm going to go for longer. Okay, let's see. So Barb, I know you're out there, Barb. I hope you're going to jump in and help me star some questions, Barb. I'm counting on it. But given some time, I'm going to give Barb some time to show up. I texted you, Barb. You don't say I didn't text you. I texted you. Someone else, any other moderators in the chat, message Barb. Barb, where are you? Here's a subject I want to start this chat out with. I was just thinking about this the other day, and I was going to do a standalone video about it, and I might still do it. But guys, there is one amazing answer to the question: why is Scientology shrinking? Why can't Scientology expand? I could probably give you a dozen reasons, and I have, and I'll continue to give those reasons over and over again. That's the beautiful thing about the internet. Every time you do a video, there's different people watching your video. I mean, think about it, guys. Every video I do, any and every video I do, less than 10% of my subscribers, on average, watch any video that I do. And that's people who've already subscribed to my channel. That doesn't even include new viewers and everything. So the beautiful thing about the internet is you should never feel that saying something once is enough. You should be able to say it 100 times. You're going to reach new people every single time. Okay, so what's the new answer to this question, guys? Why can't Scientology expand? Guys, it has to do with Scientologists not having enough kids. And Scientologists not having enough kids has to do with the fact that Scientology is so expensive. And I was thinking about this the other day. Hold on, let me just check something on YouTube real quick. Okay, we're set there. Okay, so here's the thought that I had the other day. And let's compare Scientology to the world's mainstream religions, whether it's Christianity, Judaism, or Islam. So, other religious groups, and I realized, there she is. Welcome, Barb. Welcome. So, aside from the fact that many members of other the world's mainstream religions choose to donate to their church, I know some groups have a tithing system, but even a tithing system, and I always get a little out of my depth when I make comments about other religious groups because I'm no expert. But let's just say, for the sake of an example, that I don't think any organizations that require tithing expect more than 10% of your income, 15 at the most. But I think 10% is what I've heard. A Scientologist would faint out of happiness if they were told they would never have to donate more than 10% of their income to Scientology. Scientologists tend to donate more than 100% of their net worth to Scientology. That is because Scientology is so expensive. So, so other than tithing, other than either making donations to your church because you want to, other than tithing, other religions are free. Scientology is not free. And not only is it not free, it is incredibly expensive. So think about it this way, guys. Whereas you might have some Christian families who go, I'm going to have 10, 15, 20 kids. I know that's an exaggeration, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Because it doesn't cost us anything to birth children into Christianity or into Judaism or into Islam. If you're a Scientologist and you're considering having a lot of kids, you are absolutely going to think twice, because you're going to go, how can I afford to have all my kids be involved in Scientology? Now, I was having this conversation with someone the other day, and they said, well, yeah, but Scientology parents will just send their kids off to join the Sea Org instead. And I go, yes, that's true. And Scientology families that have 1 or 2 kids who still can't afford to have those kids do Scientology, that is exactly what they will do. They will send them off to staff. They will send them off to the Sea Org. But having kids just to get rid of them flies completely in the face of the maternal instinct to have kids in the first place. And I believe that there is a maternal instinct to have kids. I think many women will tell you that. They reach a certain age and they start, getting a little baby crazy or whatever. Or even I know me as as a man. I remember from a very young age, I was like, I've always loved kids. I find kids hilarious. They're so adorable. I knew from a very early age I wanted kids, and I can tell you that urge. If you love kids and if you want kids, that urge to have kids is not consistent with having them just to get rid of them, just to send them off, just to turn them over to the Sea Organization for the rest of their lives, where you're lucky to see them once every few years. A Scientology parent who sends their child off to the Sea Org has no, they're rolling the dice. They have no guarantee. Like, if you're a Scientology parent in Los Angeles and you send your kid off to the Sea Org in Los Angeles, you have absolutely no guarantee that that child is going to continue to be in the Sea Org in Los Angeles. They could be sent off to South Africa. They could be sent off to Sydney, Australia. They could be sent off to St. Hill. They could be sent off to Copenhagen. And, I did a video about a Scientology mother who lives in Clearwater just a few weeks ago. And, she's a high-level Scientologist, veteran Scientologist, second-generation Scientologist. She signed her kids up for the Sea Org. She lives here in Clearwater, Florida. One of her kids is in South Africa. One of her kids is in Sydney, Australia. There's no reason for those kids to be there. There should be no reason for them to have shipped her kids off to other continents. And she put up an Instagram post a while back of going to visit one of her kids. She said it was the first time she hadn't seen her kid in 2.5 years. So the fact that Scientology is so expensive is why Scientologists don't have tons of kids. And that is unbelievable. to me, to think of that as just another way that Scientology sabotages itself. I've been saying for years in my videos, because I think it's a good message to repeat over and over and over again. If Scientology just treated its members a little bit better, they would never lose anyone. Now, some people go, Aaron, don't give them any ideas. Guys, they don't need ideas from me. They know this. David Miscavige knows that if he treats people better, people won't leave. He can't help himself. He's a sick individual who enjoys hurting people. And, under David Miscavige's reign, Scientology has thankfully shrunk from about 100,000 active members to something closer to 20, 25, 30,000 active members. That's good. We're all thrilled that Scientology is shrinking. It is sort of just an amazing thing to consider, almost to study, that Scientology, through its own policies and practices, not even its beliefs, its policies and practices. Now, you could say its policies and practices are based on its beliefs. Fine. I'm telling you, you can change the policies and the practices. The evidence is that David Miscavige has changed tons of the policies and practices. It is Scientology through its own policies and practices that is bringing about its own destruction. Its own policies and practices is what causes it to chase away so many members who were true believers and dedicated soldiers to the cause. And this fact of insisting on charging ridiculous amounts of money for Scientology courses and auditing, it is amazing to consider that if Scientology actually lowered its prices and treated people better, that their situation would be much different. And the reason it's amazing to consider that is because it's completely within David Miscavige's power to make that happen. And he doesn't. He doesn't. It would be so easy. It would be so easy because lowering prices and treating people better isn't something you would have to explain away to your members. You wouldn't have to be like, we found an LRH policy that said it was okay to lower prices. We found a new LRH policy that said it's okay to treat people better, because people aren't going to complain. People aren't going to complain. Why are you lowering prices? They're smart enough. They're going to keep their mouths shut. They're going to be like, show me the policy that said it was okay. If you treat people better, they're not going to be like, show me the policy that said it's okay to give people a day off every week or even every other week, Yes, this idea, because the question does come up a lot in the live chats. When they hear that Sea Org members aren't allowed to have children, they go, wait a second. People, people who are like watching, Scientology stuff for the first time, they go, wait, I'm totally confused. Wouldn't you want your members to have as many kids as possible? If you want your organization to grow? I mean, guys, I don't want to overstate the fact, but would you agree? Is it crazy to think that the fact that Christian families historically and Muslim families historically have had lots of children, is it a crazy thing to say that is largely responsible for the incredible growth trajectory of these two religions over, the last 1,000 years? Is that a negative thing to say? To me, I think that's obvious. You hear about these families that just have kids after kids after kids. Okay, so people hear that Sea Org members aren't allowed, to have children, and they're pressured to terminate pregnancies, and they go, I don't understand. And for the longest time, I have responded to questions like that by saying, oh, no. It's only the Sea Org members that can't have children. Scientologists are allowed to have as many kids as possible. And then it's just occurred to me, it's like, yeah, you're allowed to, but who cares? Who cares? Because as a Scientologist, you'd have to be crazy to have 6 kids. You'd have to be crazy. You could never afford to have those kids go up Scientology's bridge. And as a Scientologist, that's like the most important thing you're supposed to accomplish in this lifetime, is to get up Scientology's bridge. And who's going to go through the trouble of bothering to have children if all you're going to do is give them away to the Sea Organization? Nobody wants to do that. So anyway, I just figured this was worth commenting on, that if Scientology was cheaper, or God forbid, if, oh my God, what if David Miscavige made the lower bridge close to free, and the upper bridge more expensive. Wow, would he get a lot more people into Scientology? Guys, I don't want more people to get into Scientology. We're just having some thought exercises for the purpose of pointing out how easy it would be if David Miscavige wasn't a psychopath bent on destruction and harm, how easy it would be for him to try to turn around the trajectory of the Scientology organization. I'm glad that he is incapable of making better decisions. I am glad. I am not advocating for the turnaround of Scientology. But if he would cut in half the price of the lower bridge and then increase by 50% the cost of the upper bridge, I think he would actually, I think he would get a statistically significant improvement. But what do I know, guys? I grew up in a cult. I don't know anything. All right. So that's what I wanted to start out the discussion with. Let's see. The lovely Barb is in the back office. She's helping me start some comments. Let's say hi to some folks. DS Kitty Diane. Hello, hello. Megan, let me say this. Maldonado. Hello, hello. Reverse YouTube. What is this? I try to catch the lives and leave the rest to watch later. There you go. And guys, hey, if you are not subscribed, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. And if you haven't hit that like button yet, I sure would appreciate it if you did that for me. Thank you very much. Okay, check it out. Is Scientology big in Canada? There is a building in our town. I've got some really good news for you. Scientology is not big in Canada, and it is not growing in Canada. Scientology in Canada has suffered the same fate as Scientology in every other city in the world, which is that its membership and its statistics have been steadily and significantly reducing since the late 80s, early 90s. I don't know if we've got PTS Jeff Beaumont, PTS for life in the chat, or if we've got Gabrielle Escaping the Cultiverse in the chat. They would know all the Canadian orgs. If I try to name them all, I'm going to miss some. But there's an org in Vancouver. There's an org in Edmonton. There's an org in Toronto. There's an org in Montreal. And I can't remember. So what did I say? Vancouver, Toronto, Montreal, Edmonton. Did I just say 4 or 5? I'm looking in the live chat, guys. Okay, how about I say this? There are less than 10 Scientology organizations in Canada. There might be less than 7. There are far less than 200 Scientologists for every organization. That includes the public, that includes the staff. And far less. We could even say there's less than 100 Scientologists per organization, including the staff and including the public. So you guys are safe. You guys are safe. There's 1,000, I would say approximately 1,000 or less Scientologists in Canada. And if you wanted to just be incredibly generous and say 2,000, you're still talking about a drop in the bucket. And whatever the number is, it's gradually and significantly declining. And if you're someone who's never really had any involvement in the world of Scientology or watching Scientology videos, you might be tricked into thinking Scientology is growing when you see them open up a brand new building. But don't worry, it's all BS. It's all smoke and mirrors. A new Scientology organization has not been opened in 20 or so years, and when you see a brand new building being opened and they pull the ribbon and they put out a press release and they say it's a new organization, it's not. It's a brand new building for an existing small failing organization. And this is just something that David Miscavige has been doing for the last 20 years to create the illusion of Scientology expansion. But don't worry, it's not working. If we build it, they will come strategy has been a complete failure in Scientology. For Scientology. These new buildings do not result in more people joining Scientology. In fact, it just creates more hardship for the staff members because staff members are paid on a unit system. They are paid on a percentage of the weekly adjusted gross income. And the more staff members you have and the more expenses you have, the lower the value of the unit. So each staff member is assigned a certain amount of pay units based on their training level and their years on staff and the seniority of their job, their post title. So all of the units of all of the staff members are put into one giant pool, and it's divided into the adjusted, a percentage of the weekly adjusted gross income. And you arrive mathematically at the unit value of the staff pay unit. So if you recruit a bunch of new staff members, but you don't increase the income, everyone makes less money. Also, it's called the adjusted gross income because they take out the frickin' weekly expenses. When you go from a 5,000 square foot building to a 50,000 square foot building, all of a sudden you've got an organization that can't pay its electric bill. If you can't pay your electric bill, guess what? You can't pay the staff. So by opening up these big giant buildings, you actually make it harder for staff members to continue to be on staff because they already can't support themselves on staff, even when they make $20, $30, $40, $50 a week. But if all of a sudden they make nothing, it destroys staff morale. It makes it harder to keep staff members. It makes it harder to sign up new staff members. So this ideal org strategy, this real estate scheme that Miscavige has been pushing for the last 20 years has actually reduced the number of Scientology staff members. And because it hasn't resulted in more people joining Scientology, it's reduced the amount of money that's even available to pay the staff members that are still there. It's yet another example of David Miscavige's own initiatives, programs, policies, orders bringing about the destruction of Scientology. Thank you, David Miscavige. Thank you, sir. Without you, the destruction of Scientology wouldn't be possible. Thank you, sir. Hip, hip, hooray, and 3 cheers to David Miscavige. All right, let's tackle the next question. Oh, Cutesy J says, what I want to know is what can I realistically do to help the cause from my home in Wisconsin? Well, I mean, honestly, I'm just going to give you the simple answer, a simple answer to a simple question. I really do feel that by just by watching videos that are put out by former Scientologists who are just helping to amplify voices and stories of Scientology abuse, you're helping. You honestly are. The more videos you watch, the more you make it possible for those creators to keep doing what they're doing. It really is. I don't even mean to oversell the importance of it. It really is. Just watching is a huge support. You know, some people do super chats, some people do whatever, and that's always nice. That's always nice. It's appreciated. But honestly, it is even for a channel like mine. Like I know you weren't specifically asking financially. You know, even a channel like mine, I would say 96 to 97% of all of the revenue generated by this channel just comes from people watching videos. You know, Google puts ads on videos. People who have YouTube channels, once they reach 1,000 subscribers, once they reach 4,000 watch hours, Google puts ads on the videos, and the more people who watch the videos, the more revenue that channel makes. The more revenue that channel makes, the more of an incentive the people doing these videos have to keep doing them. And that's kind of the beautiful thing about it, because nobody who does these videos in the former Scientology world does them for money or started out doing them with any idea of making money. They started out doing them because they thought it was important. It was something they were qualified to do. They were able to do. They wanted to lend their voice to it. And it's just sort of a happy little accident, kind of a icing on the cake that Google has created this system that allows people to actually make money from doing these videos without anybody having to fork over any money. You know, and that really is the beautiful thing. So that's what I mean when I say just by watching videos, even if you skip ads, by the way, even if you skip an ad, the channel still gets paid for that ad. And so, yeah, that's the beautiful thing, guys. Just watching videos really is helping. So I hope that's good news. Good news for you guys. Okay, let's see. What's this? Jake, be good. Juliette Lewis's Wikipedia page says she does not identify as a Scientologist. Oh, it seems like someone on Juliette Lewis's PR and marketing team has pulled a little coup off. That is absolutely false. Juliette Lewis is 100% a Scientologist. I can't believe someone got away with editing her Wikipedia page to say that. That is total BS. Okay, James Sharp. Does Tom Cruise dye his hair? I don't want to give anyone the impression that I've got any secret inside knowledge about this, but I think we can all assume that based on the age of the one and only little Tommy Cruise, yeah, he probably dyes his hair. If I was him, I probably would too. Actually, I got to tell you what, I mean, men in show business, like going gray isn't even bad. Oftentimes men just look better and better as they get older, a little more, rough around the edges, a little grayer. I think Tom Cruise, though, might be very specifically trying to hold on to his youthful looks for as long as possible. I'm not sure he's ready to start playing characters who are just readily identifiable as being, older man characters. I don't know. I think he's probably addicted to like, I am an ageless action star. I am also the second or third biggest being in this sector of the galaxy, and we don't go gray and we don't age gracefully. We try to stay forever young. That's just my opinion, guys. What do I know? All right, let's see what else we got here. Susie Alt says, do you watch or listen to Lex Friedman's good friend, Dr. Andrew Huberman? Also, thank you for your channel. I don't watch Andrew Huberman just because I only have so many hours in the day. And his type of content doesn't really excite me. And I've been actually, it's funny, even though I don't watch his videos, I've, of course, seen, Andrew's been on some of my favorite podcasts. He's all over the place. I have recently watched some of the videos that have kind of debunked the science, the so-called alleged claimed science that Andrew claims is behind a lot of his claims. And those videos really did interest me. But yeah, no, I'm not a big Andrew Huberman guy. All right, let's see. Pray unceasingly. Thank you and welcome. Sarah Lane, what is the story about your hat, AA Ron? Oh, no story. This is just a hat that Jenna got for me. Let's see. Oh, I like this one. I'm going to be doing a whole video about this as soon as I can do a little bit of homework. It says, thank you as always. On the flip side, can you comment on Neil Gaiman allegations and or Doug E. Fresh playing the White House? Probably sends some extra love to Perth Scientology Audit. I don't know what Perth Scientology Audit has to do with the first part of the question, but so I'm going to do a whole video on Neil Gaiman. I actually yesterday started doing a little bit of homework in preparation for that. I think it is fascinating that Neil Gaiman is trying to claim the same thing that Beck claims, which is that Scientology was just never really his thing. He was never really a Scientologist. That was just something his parents were involved in. What a load of absolute horse shit. I think the reason Neil Gaiman says that is because it is kind of a loophole in the Scientology ethics codes to say you were never really a Scientologist to begin with. And the reason I say it's a loophole is because it is a high crime in Scientology. It is a suppressive act to publicly depart Scientology. But if we're being literal, you're not publicly departing Scientology if you're saying you were never really in to begin with. And the reason, one reason that somebody would want to try to exploit that loophole would be so that Scientology didn't declare them a suppressive person and their family members were not put in the awkward and uncomfortable and unenviable situation of being forced to disconnect from him. That is certainly the case with Beck. We're talking about Beck, the singer. Beck's parents, David Campbell. I can never remember his mom's name. His mom's got a funny name. Beck was born into Scientology, and so is his sister. I knew his sister, Alyssa. I never knew Beck. Heather knew Beck, but I never did. They were born and raised in Scientology. They were very, very much Scientologists. Beck was just as much of a Scientologist as Danny Masterson was. And Beck has said he's not a Scientologist and never was. His dad, David Campbell, is also an unbelievably accomplished musical composer. And yeah, it's a little bit of a loophole, you guys. The thing about the Dougie Fresh, I actually didn't know Dougie Fresh performed at the White House. Did he really? Wow. That's amazing to me. But guys, I covered this in my video yesterday, that one of the reasons Scientology does not need any of its own members, it doesn't even want any of its own members holding elected office, is because it's not necessary. They, through their celebrities, they already have as much influence as through their celebrities and their paid lobbyists. They really already have all the influence peddlers they need. Travolta was very close with the Clintons. Greta Van Susteren is very close with the Bushes. Now you've got Dougie Fresh in the mix. Is Dougie Fresh? Is he close with the current administration? This is actually news to me. I haven't heard this. If anyone out there has any other information they want to share with me on this, please hit me up at growingupinscientology@gmail.com. Oh, and while I'm asking for favors, guys, even with all my connections with under the radar folks, I have still not been able to get a photograph of the new OEC FEBC volumes that were released with the golden age of admin. Most of you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, but those of you who do, please, 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 I am dying to get a photo of the new OEC FEBC volumes. And I'm told that they're not in leather-bound volumes like they used to be. I'm told they're in plastic binders with, 3 rings. I need a photo. I'm dying for a photo, guys. Anything you can do, hit me up, growingupinscientology@gmail.com. Oh, I like this. Jake B. Good says Chloe Fineman has sidestepped the Scientology space cult narrative so far. Yes, that's a good point. And to the best of my knowledge, she also has not been kind of Chloe doesn't deny being a Scientologist either. She hasn't pulled one of these things. Also, I'm trying to remember. See, I never knew Chloe Fineman, but I know people who did, and I can't remember if she's one of these people who was born and raised in Scientology or if she just joined as a younger actress. I don't know. Barb, if anyone in the live chat actually gives the answer to that question, please feel free to star it, and I'll try to go back to this one. Okay, Emma Robson says, as Natalie says, do you agree that Scientology makes its own enemies? Oh, I agree. I mean, guys, that's my origin story. Scientology made an enemy out of me, you guys. I mean, I told this story. I recorded another podcast yesterday with Andy Stumpf that should come out really soon. And one of the things I explained, probably in some of the best detail than I've ever explained before, is how, because he asked me a question, why did you leave Scientology? I said, well, believe it or not, technically, I didn't really want to leave Scientology, even when I no longer believed in it, even when I truly, thought that it was a con and a fraud. I said there was just a difference between changing my mental beliefs about something and wanting to change my entire life situation. Just because I didn't believe in Scientology anymore doesn't mean I wanted to not see all my friends ever again, not see my family ever again, not see have my wife not see her family ever again, lose my job, have my wife lose her job, have my kids not see their cousins or their aunts or their uncles or their grandparents again. And I said, even as I was out, I would have continued to sort of live this double life forever. Really, I was really naive in thinking that I would ever be able to do that. And so I guess what I'm saying is Scientology made an enemy out of me. You know, even when they actually wanted to declare me, and it was clear they were going to declare me, I said, guys, I have a proposal. I said, obviously your concern about having me be technically a Scientologist in good standing is that I will spread a bunch of disaffection to current Scientologists. And I said, guys, that's not my game. That's not my game. What if we make a deal? Okay. You can label me PTS, whatever you want to label me, PTS, whatever. I will never try to do a Scientology course or get Scientology auditing. I'll never try to be on lines. I'm just going to live my life and do my thing. And I said, and if you ever even get one single report about me saying anything negative to any Scientologist about Scientology, about David Miscavige, about the tech, about another Scientologist, then declare me instantly. Declare me an SP instantly. And I said, doesn't that seem the best situation? Like, because if you declare me, a lot of shit's going to blow up, and not just for me. And they're like, no, we're good. Thanks. Fast forward 10 years and here we are, motherfuckers. So, you know, look, I'm not shy about saying that the reason I do what I do is to be David Miscavige's worst nightmare and to make them regret every family they have ever intentionally destroyed for no good reason, including mine. And the fact that we try to do as much good work or, you know, help as many people along the way here is, again, icing on the cake and sort of a happy accident or a happy byproduct of just having, you know, so many voices on YouTube doing what we do. But I don't try to put a pretty face on it. I do what I do to make David Miscavige pay for destroying families. Anyone that we can help along the way, help people leave Scientology, help people with the SPTV Foundation. That's great. That's wonderful. It gives an additional purpose to everything that we do. But I'm here to make David Miscavige pay. I am here to speed up the demise of the Church of Scientology. I am here to do any little thing I can do in whatever little way I can do to eventually get Scientology's tax-exempt status revoked. I'm also here to show people that no matter what Scientology tries to do to you, at the end of the day, they really can't do that much to you. You know, they can try, but if you don't let them get under your skin and you know, if you set yourself up correctly, there's really nothing they can do. I mean, guys, I live 5 minutes from where David Miscavige works down the street at the biggest Scientology organization in the world, and there's nothing they can do. Sure, Miscavige spends most of his time in Los Angeles, but he spends the second most of his time here in Clearwater, Florida, 5 minutes from my house. And there's not a damn thing that little tyrant can do to me. So I forget what the question was, but I feel like I probably answered it. Oh, yeah. Scientology does make its own enemies. Okay. Oh, boy. What do we have here? Fishy Tank One Land. My sister was a staff member for 20 years, and now she's joining the Sea Org. Oh, no. She has no money to replace her shoes with holes in them. She has a learning disability, and she was suicidal at 17 when my aunt got her in. Oh, that is sad. That is sad. The best advice that I want to give you for now, you know, just not knowing anything more than what you just said, is the best thing that you can do for your sister is to continue to be someone in her life that she does not disconnect from, that when the time comes that she is ready to leave, if she needs any help, you are one of the people that she will know in the back of her head is safe for her to call. That is what you want to do. So you don't want to be trying to plant seeds of doubt in her head about Scientology itself, because that will get her to disconnect from you. What you want to drop, the seeds that you want to drop is, hey, what do I want to say? How do I want to word this? Is say, you know, I love that you're following your passion. I love that you're doing something that you think is important to you. And so I just want you to also know that if you ever need any help at all, for any reason, if you end up in some situation where you need a place to go, please put my number at the top of that list. You have to say it in a way that sounds like you're providing her love and support without throwing shade at Scientology. And I'll tell you, the powerful thing about maintaining friendly relationships with people who are still in the Sea Org, with friends and family members who are in the Sea Org, is that, you know, what we saw time and time again, first with the Aftermath Foundation and now with the SPTV Foundation, is the way Sea Org members end up finding out that help leaving is available is through non-Scientologist friends and family members. That is in almost every single case that we've been able to help someone leave directly from the Sea Org. It's not because the Sea Org member got online and directly found out about the foundation. It's because other people shared the information with them. Other people they were in touch with, friends, family members, even friends they met on the internet. And so, yes, it's very important not to make them disconnect from you by saying negative things about Scientology. That's not going to help them, and it's not going to help you. But make sure they know that when the day comes that they need someone to pick them up or they need somewhere to stay, you're one of the people that's going to be at the top of their list to call. I'm so sorry to hear that your sister's going down that route. Hopefully it won't last long. All right, let's find the next one here. Abigail, I'm not sure I know what this means. It says, are you going to visit Epic Universe when it opens in the spring? I know Orlando is 2 hours from Clearwater, but watching the YouTube videos, I'm expecting the opening to live up to its name. I've never heard of this place, but I'm guessing if you're asking me, it must have some killer roller coasters. You know, I mean, the roller coasters down the street from me, relatively speaking, without traffic, I can get there in 30 minutes at Busch Gardens. It's hard to beat those. It's hard to beat those. I don't know that I want to travel 2 hours for some sick roller coasters, but never say never. I've actually never heard of this place though. Epic Universe. I haven't heard anything about this, Abigail, but I don't know if they're amazing enough. I might have to check it out. Okay, Asher Peisman, out of curiosity, when did you go bald? He says, I'm bald, but I'm kind of glad because I hate having ginger hair. Love my beard, though. Thank you, Asher. Okay, I was about 23 years old when my hair started thinning in the back. And I was not happy about it. Now, you might think I'm a ginger because my beard has quite a bit of red in it, but I am not. My hair was brown when I had hair. It was brown. Maybe you could call it auburn, but it was brown. Yeah, so the answer is 23. And I actually shave my head every single day. Yes. Thank you, Asher. We're asking the important questions. Emma Robson says, hey, Aaron, still here, still supporting. Thank you so much, Emma. Uh-oh, Barb just left the chat. What happened, Barb? We do have a lot of comments starred, but hopefully she'll come back. Let me see. Oh, this is a good one. Esperanza. Now that your kids are older, have they spoken to you about the cult? Yeah. My girls, my God, the years are flying by, you guys. My girls are they all have their birthdays within a few weeks of each other. They're all almost, they're all 2 years apart. And in a couple months here, they are all going to be turning 18, 16, and 14. That little girl who plays that cute little guitar at the end of all my videos is about to be 14 years old. And yes, both me and Heather do talk with the girls a lot about Scientology. And in fact, my middle child, she went to a concert with her friends in downtown Clearwater. Hey, Barb. I'm gonna have to skip this story because I'm gonna get emotional. I don't want to. Yeah. The short version of this story is she even it's not an important enough story to push on through and get emotional about, but she went into the Scientology test center, and without them knowing who she was, decided to have a little bit of fun with them. And and sort of got the girl who was working there to have a conversation with her about what she thinks about Scientology destroying families. No. She told me this story today, and she did this a couple days ago, and she was so proud to tell me the story. And you know, because it's like my girls have never been involved in Scientology ever. I mean, you know, that we were in Scientology for a whole bunch of years before me and Heather were officially expelled, but we never ever enrolled our kids in any introductory courses or had them sign up for, I mean, we never had them do anything, like zero. Our kids have never been involved in Scientology in any way. And yet, in a lot of ways, they are the ones who have suffered, experienced the effects of disconnection. I think the effects of disconnection have impacted their lives even more than me and Heather. You know, yeah. Anyway, that's the answer to the question. Jane says, how is Goliath getting on? He's still a happy dog who acts like a puppy and acts like he's a lap dog. But he's an old man these days. He's at least, I mean, I forget exactly. He's at least 10 years old. He might be 11, he might be 12, but you know, in dog years, he's an old man, but he still acts like a puppy. Thank goodness. Earthling, is Scientology declining faster than other religions? Well, I actually don't have any statistics on the growth or decline of the world's mainstream religions. But if somebody crunches the numbers, and if you say that there was about 100,000 active Scientologists approximately in the late 80s, and there's approximately 25 to 30,000 Scientologists today, what is the what would that come out? What's the average percentage decline? And that decline has probably not been on a straight line. It's probably accelerated more in recent years, but somebody could do the math on that. I have no idea whether religion in general is expanding or contracting in the US or even around the world. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? Okay, Post-it News 2024. The recruitment is really dropping. Why they are not allowing internet to be part of people's daily lives. So again, similar to the question about having kids, your average public Scientologist is on the internet as much as anybody else is on the internet. Even staff members are on the internet. I mean, aside from the fact that they spend so much time working. In their free time, I would say staff members are probably on the internet about as much as anyone else is on the internet. It is Sea Org members who aren't really allowed to be on the internet. Even that is changing a little bit. They all have email addresses. The thing about Sea Org members being on the internet is they're on very heavily monitored and filtered networks. They don't want Sea Org members exposed to the internet because they don't want, well, they don't want them finding out the truth of Scientology, and they don't want them finding out that there's help available to leave if they want to help leave, if they want help leaving, if they need to get back to their country, if they need airfare, you know, if they're overstayed their visas and they need help with either the police or immigration or, you know, travel expenses. They don't want Sea Org members to know that. And also, Scientology spends a ton of money trying to promote on the internet. So now this specific question here was, so remember, in order to use the internet as a recruitment tool, you wouldn't actually have to let current members on the internet because you're trying to reach people who are never in. So these are actually two different subjects that we're talking about here, but Scientology is trying very, very hard to recruit people on the internet. It just doesn't work. Scientology and the internet is like oil and water. Trying to recruit people on the internet when the only place to get the true information about Scientology is on the internet is a losing battle for David Miscavige. All right, let's see. This is an interesting question from Sam. The United Kingdom riots in 2024. How does Scientology respond to civil unrest? Luckily, I'm from Scotland, but I think they are starting here as well. This is a good question. Scientology responds to civil unrest first by protecting its buildings, because in Scientology, there is nothing more important than their buildings. You'll see them very quickly board up windows if they think there's any risk of damage occurring to the building. The other thing they will do is use it as a fundraising opportunity. Scientologists believe that just by handing out way to happiness booklets, they can bring peace to an otherwise unpeaceful situation. Now, you might go, well, gee, does that mean they'll take some of the billions of dollars that they have and just print up a bunch of these booklets and hand them out? No, of course not. They would never do that. Because remember, they use this as a fundraising opportunity. They will say they urgently need way to happiness booklets printed in the languages, whatever languages of the community that the protests are occurring in. And they will say they urgently need donations for this. And they will print out these books and they'll hand out some of them. And then when the civil unrest ends, they will take credit for having ended it by handing out books. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. And then they will take videos. They'll have like professional video crews going out, following people wearing volunteer minister, Scientology volunteer ministers jackets and shirts and everything, handing out booklets to people. And they will use videos of Scientologists handing out the booklets. And they will compile this into a whole video presentation to show at an event and use that for fundraising as well. They will say that the IAS, the International Association of Scientologists, they will say that the IAS funded the printing of hundreds of thousands of Way to Happiness books, when that would be the first lie. The IAS didn't pay for it. Local Scientologists were told that they needed money for it. And so you should donate to the IAS so that Scientology and its volunteer ministers can continue to go around the world bringing peace everywhere on earth, solving crime in Colombia. I'm surprised we haven't seen videos of Way to Happiness booklets being passed out in Palestine. In fact, they've probably already done something like that. Who knows? But yeah, good question. Scientology up north. Hey, good to see you. Uh-oh, what's happening? Scientology up north. Aaron, when will you be traveling to Europe? We would love to see what would happen to the busy AOSHEU if you would show up. Ooh, don't tempt me. That sounds like an amazing amount of fun. I'll tell you what, I might have to look at tickets because I gotta get the hell out of Clearwater. It is like it's been like 90 degrees with like 70% humidity, like every day for the last 2 months. I have got to get out of here. Let me know what the weather's like in Copenhagen. If it's dry, if it's not humid, if it gets cool in the evenings, I might just jump on a plane next week. You know what I'm saying? I could use a little change of environment. Thank you for the question. Sam says, did Talon Executive Services and Academy, formerly Blackwater, provide security for David Miscavige and Scientology? Well, the answer for Talon Executive Services is yes. I'm not familiar with Academy. I'm not familiar if you're saying these are the same companies. Are these the same names for different companies? I'm sorry. Are these different names for the same company? The answer is yes. Talon Executive Services has been providing security for David Miscavige and Scientology for decades now. It's been a very lucrative contract. Okay. No. Oh. Jake, be good. Leonardo DiCaprio was born in Big Blue on Fountain when it was still a hospital. Jake, be good. I may not know much. After all, I grew up in a cult. But I can tell you that Leonardo DiCaprio is not a lot older than me, and that Scientology has owned those properties on L. Ron Hubbard Way for longer than I've been alive. So now there is another hospital on the other side of the street of L. Ron Hubbard Way, and I guess I couldn't swear to you how long that hospital has been there. But if someone asked me prior to your having made this comment, whether Leonardo DiCaprio could ever have possibly been born in the hospitals that are now L. Ron Hubbard Way, I would say, hell no. But if that's true, that would be interesting. I just don't actually think that's true. All right, let's see. Goosebump 801. Based on what you learned by interviewing Leo Perez, would your detailed estimate of the number of Sea Org staff in public change? It's an excellent question. The obvious answer is yes. One of the reasons I would be hesitant to lower the number is that the number of 30 to 35,000 is already so insanely low compared to what Scientology claims that it's already at a level that is almost unbelievable. And most Scientologists, even if they see that their local organization is struggling and failing and, can't even bring together 50 people to come to an event, they do assume and believe that other organizations are doing better. And one of the things that I like to try to do, I like to believe that I'm able to accomplish, is putting out information in a way that people who are still inside the cult can believe it. And if I put out information that is, well, while technically accurate, is to a Scientologist actually unbelievable, then it has a repelling effect. And I would be nervous about having that repelling effect. If I say there's only 15 to 20,000 Scientologists in the world, someone who's still in the cult would listen to that number and they just turn off my channel and be like, I knew it was just a bunch of lying SPs. And so, particularly for people in Clearwater or Los Angeles, where, when David Miscavige is putting on a live event, they can still wrestle up around 1,500, maybe 2,000 people to show up, including all the Sea Org members. So if I say there's only 100 Scientologists per org, and if I use that in my mathematical calculation, and I say there's only 20,000 Scientologists in the world, that's just so unbelievable to people who are still inside. So, technically the answer to your question is yes, I should reduce my estimate. But I might not. And also the thing is, when you're working with numbers that are this small, it's just very, very difficult to try and accurately track the precise rate of decline. And yeah, that's why I don't really try to. I don't try to chart the actual rate of decline of this number over time. I tend to be happy enough that we can say 100,000 active members in the late 80s. You know, let's just say be fair and say 30,000 members now. What does that come out to on an annual percentage decline? And those are pretty good numbers. Anyway, that's my answer to that. Thank you so much. All right, let's see what else we have here. Greta Hepburn. Hey, do you know if the True School is still in Clearwater? If not, do you know what happened with it? Wow, I forgot all about the True School. I haven't heard that name in a long time. You know, because I haven't heard that name in a long time, I'm inclined to say it doesn't exist, but I could be wrong on that. You know, I really could be wrong. And I don't know what happened to it. I can tell you that in Clearwater, Florida, the main Scientology schools right now, and I'm sure there's some other small ones that I'm not aware of, Clearwater Academy, Delphi Academy, Washburn Academy. These are the main Scientology schools in Clearwater, Florida. And all three of them go through the 12th grade. I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure all three of those schools go from kindergarten through the 12th grade. Yeah, the True School, man, I forgot all about that one. Hey, if anybody out there knows what happened to the True School, has any more information about it, hit me up at growingupinscientology@gmail.com, and I'll do a dedicated video about that. Thank you so much. All right, let's pick another one here. Oh, Sam wants to know, does David Miscavige have a set of personal bodyguards that protect him, that come from the outside, rather than trusting people on the inside to protect him? That is a very good question. The answer is yes. And those people work for Talon Executive Services. Yeah, I've done a few videos about Talon Executive Services. I would not be surprised if you saw Talon Executive Services get pulled in to some of the lawsuits that are currently outstanding against Scientology. Remember, guys, there are 5 civil lawsuits currently outstanding against Scientology. And I am quite sure that a number of current and former Talon security, Talon executives, I forget, Talon, I call it Talon Securities, Talon Security. Yeah, I think you're going to see a number of current and former staff members of Talon being deposed in these lawsuits. All right. Brian Kent says, will you do more live streams with Jenna? Yeah, we're going to do another one tomorrow. Tomorrow, well, we were talking about, I want to do it tomorrow. She wanted to do it on Monday. I think we're going to end up doing it tomorrow anyway, but we'll see. Yeah. We're also going to do an in-studio interview soon as well. Thank you for asking. All right, let's find the next one. All right, Mrs. Bramlett Jr. Are Scientologists told to boycott a show if it has an anti-Scientology storyline like The Boys and Brooklyn Nine-Nine? By the way, Jim Meskimen guest starred on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. You know, at first I wanted to say yes, but the truth is it's not like something that would be made really official, because Scientology also has the thing of what they call not wanting to forward an enemy line. So I remember, you guys, how many of you guys watched the show Nip Tuck? When I first got out of the Sea Org in 2006, Nip Tuck was on the air, and I was infatuated with this show. It was fantastic, and I couldn't believe it when a Scientology storyline was introduced into the show, where the son joined Scientology and his girlfriend joined Scientology, and they went to the ship and they were being told to disconnect from people. And I was like, oh my God. So what Scientology wouldn't want to do is to announce to all Scientologists in the world that this super popular TV show has a very anti-Scientology storyline. Like, that would sort of be called forwarding an enemy line. But what they really would do is crack down internally on people talking about it. So any Scientologist who was found to be talking about the show to other Scientologists would be reported to ethics. The ethics officer would pull that person in and put them on the meter and do an interview and find out who they told and exactly what they said and what was their intention, and would probably assign them a lower condition and all this kind of stuff. They certainly wouldn't like publish an issue announcing it or something like that. Good question. Thank you for that. Canadian girl, when are we getting a Danny Masterson update? Well, I thought I was going to have one for you last week. His appeal was expected. Danny Masterson only has so much time to file an appeal on his criminal conviction. And it's going to be really fascinating to see what is in that appeal. That appeal keeps getting postponed. His deadline for filing that appeal keeps getting pushed back due to various arguments being made by his counsel. I don't know what they're waiting for. I don't know why they're dragging their feet. But that one of the deadlines was last week, and it was pushed back again. And I figured, I'm not going to do a whole video just to say that a deadline got pushed back. But hopefully sooner than later, we are going to have that appeal filed. And when that happens, that will probably be the next Danny Masterson update. Thank you so much. Let's see what we have next. Oh, I'm getting all phlegmy, guys. This is what happens when I talk for an hour uninterrupted. All right, let's see what's happening here. Let's see. We got about 1,500 people watching right now. Guys, if you're watching right now and you haven't hit that like button, please hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. I would greatly appreciate it. Okay, Sam says, how powerful and dangerous is David Miscavige? Not just within Scientology, but in the broader context. I mean, I would argue in the broader context, David Miscavige doesn't have any power at all. And within Scientology, the question, how powerful is he is all powerful. David Miscavige is the Kim Jong-un of Scientology. Questioning David Miscavige is akin to a death sentence in Scientology. We're not speaking literally. We are speaking figuratively, obviously. But he has complete, unchecked, uncontested power. He has the ultimate authority and control of all finances, period. He also has control of all of the attorneys, which is partially what gives him his power. That really is what allowed David Miscavige to take control of Scientology away from Pat Broker and Annie Broker and Vicky Asnaran and whoever was running CMO Int at that time. I forget who it was. Yeah. All right, let's see. Anna from Canada. Can you please do an interview with Eric Rader? Yeah, I think we can work that out one of these days. Thank you, Anna. Carol Stewart. Aaron, where does Scientology buy their food from? Uh-oh, what's happening? Where does Scientology buy their food from? Do they get deliveries from Costco? So actually, what is that company? It's like a wholesale food company. Is it Sysco, S-Y-S-C-O, not C-I-S-C-O? Let me go on this real quick. S-Y-S-C-O. Yeah. Sysco, food services and more. Yeah, very often when I'm driving through downtown Clearwater, I will see the giant Sysco semi-trailer backing into the loading dock of the Fort Harrison Hotel, delivering the food, or into the Superpower building. So it's funny. I never saw those delivered when I worked in LA in the Sea Org on L. Ron Hubbard Way. I never, ever saw any of the food getting delivered. And somehow, just coincidentally, I see the food getting delivered here in Clearwater, Florida all the time. And it's from Sysco. Thank you for that. Tux Girl 757. I'm excited for your HG Tudor interview next week. How was it talking with him? It's not next week. It's actually going to be published tomorrow. I thought it was interesting. It was him interviewing me. I wasn't interviewing him. And he's an interesting fellow. I'd never spoken to him before. I've never met him. I guess I'm not sure if anyone's met him. I didn't realize it, but I found out he's never shown his face in any of his videos. You know, it's funny. I think like HG Tudor's shtick is that he's like a narcissist. I didn't even ask him, are you self-diagnosed? Are you clinically diagnosed? Have you been diagnosed as a narcissist? But I've heard of him. And he reached out to me wanting to do an interview about Scientology and narcissism. And I thought, oh, this is going to be perfect because, you know, the people who criticize me call me a malignant narcissist. And I go, I want to talk to an actual narcissist and have him explain to me if I was a narcissist, how would I know that? And it's funny, even though when he mentioned this, I didn't bring up the Scientology sort of analogy here, but it's almost one of these things where, at risk of misstating it, it's almost one of these things. Scientology has this also set up where if you think you're an SP, then you can't be an SP. If I'm recalling it correctly, it's one of these things where if you really think you're a narcissist, then you're probably not a narcissist. And I go, oh, that just seems so cheap and easy. Like then narcissists would just run around self-identifying as narcissists and then they wouldn't be narcissists. Like it just seems cheap. Like anyway, we had a really, really interesting conversation. And yeah, it comes out tomorrow. I don't know when it comes out. I don't know when he publishes his videos. You know, I was mentioning before being jealous about Lex being able to publish like 20 videos in a day to his Clips channel, or JD Delay being able to publish like 20 shorts a day to his channel and nobody freaks out over it. HG also publishes like 20 videos a day. And that's actually when we finished our chat, I was like, hey, can I ask you a YouTube question? And he's like, yeah. I said, you've published like 16 videos in the last 24 hours. Like what's the deal there? And he goes like, well, I think he said, well, on the weekends is when I do new content. And during the week, I just publish segments of my old content since no one on YouTube really watches old videos. I go, oh, interesting. And then my second thought was like, that might sound like that's like an easy, cheap, fast solution. It is unbelievably time consuming to edit and publish 16 to 20 segments a day, even if you're not, recording new material. So anyway, that was a funny little thing. All right, let's see. Margaret Gasparo. Has anyone ever contacted you wanting out and wanting a safe place to stay? Absolutely. That's what the foundations exist for. I'll tell you what it never is. What it never is some sort of an urgent, I need to get out right now. I need to be picked up in the next 30 minutes. I'll never have another chance. That's not how people leave Scientology. That's not how people leave the Sea Org. It's an unrealistic scenario. That's not a thing. That's not how people leave. But we've helped a lot of people leave Scientology. And by we, I mean primarily when I was running the Aftermath Foundation. And now I mean the SPTV Foundation. I'm not going to get into the habit of issuing actual numbers or statistics, but I was so proud the other day to look at the list of people we have already helped leave Scientology and also help former Scientologists. The SPTV Foundation has already helped over a dozen people either leave Scientology or people who've already out of Scientology and needed help in specific ways. It has been an unbelievable success story already. And don't expect me to keep, continually give updates on the numbers because I'm not going to, and it's not even helpful to give numbers. But I was like, has it really been a dozen people? Like we've only been doing this for a relatively small number of months so far. And it's amazing, guys. It's amazing. Look, I say I do this to be David Miscavige's worst nightmare and to make him pay for destroying families. But the fact is we are able to help people along the way. And, you know, I'm still waiting for our 501c3 application to come back approved from the IRS. Once it does, I'll never shut up about the foundation. I haven't been energetically or even lackadaisically raising funds, even though we can. It's okay. You can donate to the foundation. Go to sptvfoundation.org. Please feel free to donate. The fact is, we've already raised a bunch of money. We've been putting that money to really good use, helping people leave Scientology, helping former Scientologists. And, you know, like I said, I do this to make David Miscavige pay, but being able to help people at the same time does give a greater sense of purpose to everything that we do here on YouTube. So, so the answer to your question is absolutely. Okay, Kimberly Johnson says, how did you get into Scientology, and how in the hell did you get out with all of your mental facilities intact? Kimberly Johnson, thank you. You must be new to the channel. I was 4 years old when my mom got into Scientology, and I was 12 years old when I started working for Scientology full time. And many people would tell you that my mental facilities are not intact at all. I will take your question as a compliment. Thank you very much. Okay. Brian S. says, how does David Miscavige and the Church of Scientology rationalize the high percentages of OT8s who have left Scientology? Well, the first answer, what's happening with oh, there we go. Okay. The first answer to your question is they don't try to rationalize it because it's actually against the rules in Scientology to talk about these things. However, of course, as you would imagine, it does inevitably come up now and again. And the way it would be rationalized is that these people never truly attained the levels on the bridge that they had attested to. There was out tech on their case. They were a bypassed case. They falsely attested to lower levels and so never truly achieved the gains that were there to be had on the bridge. They would also say that these people committed overts. They were PTS. They were potential trouble source. They were connected to SPs, suppressive persons, and that they roller coastered and that they, they went effect. They went effect of SPs and they committed overts and they caved themselves in and they blew Scientology to protect Scientology from the harmful things these people were secretly doing to destroy Scientology. That is quite literally how they would rationalize it, but they would also rather it just didn't even ever come up. Thank you so much for the question. Emma Robson says, thank you for answering, Aaron. We all agree, and this is why we are all here. Thank you so much, Emma. I really appreciate it. Freebird67, when did your channel explode? I assume it was Danny Masterson content, or was it something else? So, I mean, I would have to go back and look. I mean, for sure, during the Danny Masterson trial is when my channel was getting the most views. And when your channel is getting the most views is when it's getting the most new subscribers. I think the peak, my peak, the most views I ever got in a month during that period was about 8 million views. I'm at a pretty steady 1.3 to 1.5 million views a month right now with nothing particularly interesting happening in the world of Scientology. The funny thing is, the way I really want to answer the question is my channel started exploding when I started uploading videos every day. And that was approximately 2 years ago. But there may have been a date coincidence, though, with the Danny Masterson stuff heating up. You see, the Masterson stuff has been going on for many, many, many years. And so, you know, for all of the analytics that YouTube has, it doesn't actually allow me to go back, or anyone, to look at monthly statistics, like just monthly, further back than 1 year. The most helpful way for me to look at statistics, particularly like looking at, I can take a daily graph and a weekly graph and I can go back to the beginning of my channel. But that's not particularly helpful to me. I want to see monthly aggregate numbers. And YouTube won't show me monthly aggregate views or subscribers or watch hours beyond 6 and 12 months. So I'm rambling here a little bit. There was pretty much 2 large explosions on my channel when I look at the numbers. And I forget what the second one was, but the first one was certainly Danny Masterson related. Yeah, I mean, I think, so those are the 2 answers to the question. Uploading every day is what kicked my channel into a higher gear. And the Masterson stuff was huge for new subscribers. And then a lot of the protest stuff was pretty important for new subscribers as well. And now I'm pretty much just, right now we're pretty much at steady state. Like I can always find some current event that I can do a video about that I can tie to Scientology in some way. Like there's been nothing terribly exciting happening in the Scientology world for the last 2 or 3 months. But as you can see, I'm still able to keep doing videos whenever I want to do videos. There's always something to talk about. So yeah, let me see, anyway, that's the answer to the question. Thank you for that. Oh, I see a bunch of questions that I've actually already answered because I'm kind of behind on this. Let's see, Lady Victoria. It's so amazing when they grow up and become young women. Yes. Yeah. So my 2 oldest are both already driving. Let's see. What does this mean? Waspier, great to see you. Hi, Aaron. I haven't tuned in for ages. I hope you're doing well. Oh, it was just a statement. Excellent. Thank you, Waspier. Good to see you. Thank you for joining today. Rural SD lawyer, do you think public and staff in Clearwater know who you are? Is there a book or a list of people that they are supposed to avoid? Oh, that's a good question. The answer is yes. And there is a book. It's actually a Facebook. They have a book of photographs of the biggest, most notorious known SPs in the area. And all of the security staff have to go through this book regularly to be able to visually identify a known SP when they see one. Now, they do not have all staff members and SEERG members go through this book. But the answer is yes. There's an anecdote that happened at my gym. It was quite a while ago, but it's still the anecdote still serves the purpose of I was on one of the bench press benches, and there was a few young guys next to me. And after a little while, one of them came up to me and said, hey, are you famous? And I was like, well, some people might know me from my YouTube channel. And they said, oh, yeah, I know who you are. I said, yeah. I said, all right, well, I'm glad that you do. And I said, oh, are you a Scientologist? He's like, yeah, I'm a Scientologist. I said, okay. And I didn't want to, make a deal out of it. They very quickly moved away from me. So yeah, now that's funny because that means they'd seen the YouTube channel. It's funny. The only places I get recognized is Costco and Publix. Now that's partially because those are the only places I go is Costco and Publix. Although I did get recognized at the Apple store in Tampa the other week. And then I just happened two people. They were not Scientologists, had never been in Scientology. And it was funny. I was there to get a phone fixed? I think I was there to buy a pair of AirPods or whatever. And, when you go into the Apple store, you put your name down and then the person comes up to you and they already know who you are. And so I was standing there waiting and this guy comes up to me and he had a mask on and he goes, Aaron. And I just start talking to him about the thing I'm trying to buy. And he goes, oh, no, I don't work here. And I was like, oh, you watch the channel? And he's like, yeah, I watch all your videos. And then funnily enough, like 2 weeks later, I run into the exact same guy at Costco. And he goes, man, you really do. You really are a man of the town. You really are a local guy. I'm like, yeah, I'm a local guy. This is my place. Costco is my stomping grounds. Oh, that was amazing. And it doesn't happen as often anymore. During the Danny Masterson trial, it would happen a lot. Again, just at the grocery store. It happens almost never anymore. Except literally just last week, I ran into a guy, of course, at Costco. Never been a Scientologist, lived locally a long time. He's got a local business. The business as many local businesses do, a lot of Scientologist clients. And he was like, man, your videos are so helpful. I was like, cool, dude. That's why I do them, man. I love doing them, mostly to be a nightmare to David Miscavige. But I also know that they are helpful. And that is, it's one of the reasons I keep doing them. Okay, Jeff Price says, burp, the obsession with stats just proves that the cult of Scientology only exists to generate cash. Everything they do is oriented to generating cash. Absolutely. It's a totally true statement. Totally agree with you. Christmas Jones says, Tom Cruise has 2 grandkids in Clearwater. Well, Christmas Jones, unless there's something I don't know, Tom Cruise does not have grandkids. Tom Cruise has 2 adopted children, Connor and Isabella. They are both married, but I'll tell you what, if Connor's wife has kids, I don't know about it. Is that true? Is that what you mean, Christmas Jones? And Isabella doesn't live in Clearwater. Isabella, I think, lives in London. If Isabella has kids, I do not know about it. I'm looking in the live chat here, guys. Oh, Ishmael Bay's in the chat. Ishmael, we still got to connect. Ishmael. I am ready to rock and roll. We got to chat. And Ishmael, if you're ever in town, I got this beautiful setup behind me. I got new mics. I got new mic stands. I'm ready to rock and roll. Otherwise, let's just do an online chat. Good to see you, Ishmael. Oh my God, Connor had kids? You're shitting me. Connor had kids? Wow. Oh, it says Isabella lives in Cornwall. Oh yeah, I just meant she lives in England. I mean, to me, it's all the same. Not only did I grow up in a cult, but I'm an American and all we care about is America. Wow. He had kids. I'm blown away. Damn. Thank you for letting me know, Christmas Jones. Wow. Okay, Christy wants to know, if you could interview anyone, who would it be? Oh, that's a hard question. Because obviously the answer would be Tom Cruise. Yeah, if you could interview anyone. The question implies that it would be someone who I presently could not interview. I mean, let's be honest. I want to interview Priscilla Presley. That's who I want to interview. I'm already in touch with her son, Navarone. He and I are supposed to do another chat here soon. Priscilla, let's do a chat. How about that? Maybe if any of you guys are fans of Navarone, Nav goes, I don't know if he likes saying Nav or Nav. I'll say Nav. Nav goes live on Instagram a lot. Do any of you guys follow Navarone on Instagram? Yeah, maybe if any of you guys are big fans of Nav and you join his live streams a lot, ask him. I mean, shit, I can text him. I text Nav all the time. Yeah, I'd like to. You know what? Priscilla Presley knows a lot. Priscilla Presley, I have said that Tom Cruise could take down Scientology if he left. If Shelley Miscavige spoke out, she could take down Scientology. if she ever left. I mean, she doesn't want to leave. She doesn't want to speak out. But, you know, if she did, it hasn't occurred to me that Priscilla Presley could do an unbelievable amount of damage. That's the answer to my question. That's my answer to this question. Priscilla Presley. Emma Robson, thank you for gifting a channel membership. Very kind of you. Okay, Lurkview says, do you think that Pat Broker and L. Ron Hubbard were ever candidly formulating a strategy for the future? I do not get why Pat Broker wouldn't at least try to forge the new OT levels. Consult a writer. I think the answer, my personal opinion, based on just all the information that I've been exposed to on this subject, would be no. You know, in many ways, there's many examples that somebody could point to of projects that L. Ron Hubbard assigned Pat Broker to that would indicate that L. Ron Hubbard trusted Pat Broker. But there's also other reasons based on anecdotes and stories of other people that L. Ron Hubbard liked Annie a lot more than he liked Pat. So if L. Ron Hubbard was going to be talking with anybody about future plans, my opinion is that it would have been with Annie. And, you know, I listened to a chat that Janice Gillen Grady and Mark Fisher did with each other about a year ago about the whole Pat Broker, Annie Broker situation. And the two of them seemed pretty convinced that the issue that promoted Pat and Annie to loyal officer, to the rank of loyal officer, which would have effectively put them in charge of Scientology. They seem to be of the mind that that issue was most likely fake, forged. I'm going to have to talk to them about that because I have questions about some of their takes on this. But it also did occur to me that, you know, given the fact that it seems pretty evident that L. Ron Hubbard liked Annie more than Pat, why would he have promoted Pat to first loyal officer and Annie to second loyal officer? When by all accounts, by the time L. Ron Hubbard actually died, he had actually sent Pat Broker away. He was a little pissed off at Pat Broker. And Annie was the one he was really close with. So if at the end of his life, he was actually going to promote those two to first and second loyal officer, it seems like Annie would be first loyal officer and Pat would be second. The fact that the issue said the opposite could be circumstantial evidence to support the idea that that issue was forged, was fake, was fraudulent. But yeah, that was my answer to that question. Thank you so much. Peter Anderson is asking, when is the Marilyn Honig interview? What's happening with her subscribers? She had 6,000 and last night it was just over 300. I had to resubscribe. Marilyn and I are going to do a video tomorrow. We're going to do a video together. She's got a bunch of, Marilyn and I did a video previously. The last one we did together was her. She had a bunch of questions. She just had a bunch of questions that she was going to ask me and I'm going to answer her questions. So it's not really an interview tomorrow. It's like a topical video. But so Marilyn had deleted her channel and then she reinstated the channel. And it does seem that the process of deleting your channel just gets rid of all your subscribers. So that's what happened. She had to start fresh. That's all. Let's see what's next. Christy says it would be an amazing interview. I'm so sick of Tom Cruise. Do you know who else is sick of Tom Cruise? Priscilla Presley. Priscilla Presley does not like Tom Cruise. I'm pretty sure Nav said that in our interview, but how cool would it be to hear that out of Priscilla's mouth and to hear why? Let's see. All right. What do we have? Okay. Would Scientology allow Heather back in and allow her to talk to her family now that you are separated? Ooh, good question. The short answer is no, because there's a series of steps that a person who's been declared a suppressive person has to do in order to get back into the good standing of Scientology. And those steps are called the A to E steps. And Heather would never do the A to E steps, so Scientology would never let her get back into good standing. Now, if she wanted to do the A to E steps, they would let her do the A to E steps. That's sort of the purpose of the A to E steps, is no matter how bad a person has been in Scientology's eyes, no matter how much of a big, bad, evil SP they've been, they say you always leave the door open a crack. And, you know, of course, part of the A to E steps is to throw everyone who you know that's a former Scientologist under the bus, or to throw all the people you know who are under the radar under the bus. You know, you've got to really burn everything down in order to do your A to E steps, and Heather would never do that. So theoretically, yes, but realistically, no. Like, theoretically, would Scientology let her do it if she wanted to do it? Yes. But, you know, would that ever happen? No. Thank you for that. Frank Humphreys says, do they recruit on college campuses? Yes, very much yes. You know, the one example that comes to mind immediately is in the Columbus area. Catherine Olson was a Sea Org member posted in the Columbus org, who, before she escaped, her job was to be on the college campus. I forget which giant college is right near Columbus, Ohio. Is it Ohio State? I don't know, you guys. But yeah, that's where she would go on the campus and hand out promo and hand out books. And yeah, I guess selling books and handing out promo, you know, that is Scientology recruitment. It's funny because in Scientology, the word recruitment refers to getting people to join staff. But I guess in common language, getting people into Scientology is called recruitment as well. So the answer is yes. I mean, in fact, recruiting on college campuses is probably one of the most preferred and favorite places for Scientology to recruit. They like to get them young. Oh, I like this question. Thunderstorm. What broke the spell that was over you when you were in the cult? What was the first glimmer of reason? Excellent question. And the answer is in 2009, the Tampa Bay Times, back then it was still called the St. Pete Times, but it's called the Tampa Bay Times now. In 2009, they did a series of articles called The Truth Rundown, where they interviewed a whole bunch of former high-level Scientology executives like Marty Rathbun and Mike Rinder and some others. And these were people who were famous personalities in Scientology. And it was being revealed for the first time that not only had they left the Sea organization, but they had, in fact, left Scientology altogether. And they were speaking out for the first time about the horrific torture and abuse from David Miscavige at the international base. This is the first time people were learning about what they called the hole, which was really just a systemic multi-year torture and punishment campaign of the highest Scientology executives. And it was just unbelievable. And for me, that was the first crack. That was the first crack in the dam. And it just snowballed from there. Thank you for the question. Oh, I like this question. David Persons asks, what is the precise relationship between the Clearwater Scientologist leadership and the Clearwater political leadership? Oh, that is a good question. Speaking literally, the Clearwater political leadership hates Scientology. They won't admit that publicly. They will only say that behind closed doors where it's safe. But what happens is that some of these people's best friends are on Scientology's payroll. And these are people like Brian Ongst Jr. is a real estate attorney on Scientology's payroll, whose father has been mayor of Clearwater twice. Behind closed doors, Brian Ongst Jr. hates Scientology, but he still takes their dirty money to help them take over Clearwater. There's a guy named, is it David Burdett? Oh, Joe Burdett. There's a guy named Joe Burdett, a local power player. Behind closed doors, this guy will tell you he hates Scientology, but he takes their money to help Scientology take over Clearwater. Joe Burdett is one of the best friends of Frank Hibbard, one of the biggest one of the biggest presences and forces in the local political establishment. Frank has been mayor twice as well. Joe Burdett's quite literally his best friend, and Joe Burdett is on the payroll of Scientology. There's a local attorney named Katie Cole, who also doesn't like Scientology, but she takes their money to help them take over Scientology. There's a guy who used to, Ed Armstrong is a guy, hates Scientology, but he used to take their money to help Scientology take over Clearwater. Ed Armstrong's pretty much been replaced by Brian Unks Jr. and Katie Cole these days. There's a local attorney named Wally Pope. Wally Pope doesn't really like Scientology, but he takes their money to do their dirty work and, you know, threaten people and stuff like that. So none of the Clearwater leadership is actually a Scientologist or would ever be caught dead at a Scientology event. But between the corrupting influence of Scientology's money, combined with the fact that these people are just cowards, they're just utter pathetic cowards. Scientology is able to pretty much do what it wants. And that's my answer to that question. Oh no, Nora, sending you love, brother. Thank you so much, Nora. Great to see you in here. By the way, I'm loving your second channel. What is it called? Gen Exercise? Gen Exercise. Nora's documenting her fitness journey, which is very inspirational. And yeah, awesome stuff. Reconnecting. Any suggestions on software for editing videos easily? Guys, I pay the monthly subscription to the Adobe suite of editing products. I use Adobe Premiere Pro. It's the only thing I've ever tried to learn how to edit on. So if there's an easier way to do it, if there's a better thing, I don't know it. I don't know of it, and I don't know how to do it. So I just go with Adobe Premiere Pro for all of my editing needs. Thank you for the question. Let's see. Case Ventura. Can someone be helped by the foundation without ever knowing? If you catch my drift. Yes, absolutely. And that has been done. I can't even give the example of how that was done without providing too much information that would defeat the purpose of the person not knowing. But yes, it is possible for someone to be helped by the foundation without them knowing that that's where the help was coming from. Okay, DW wants to know, have you ever met in person David Miscavige or John Travolta or Tom Cruise? Okay, so I've met John Travolta in person. I have never spoken to David Miscavige in person, but I have been in his presence in person. So I'm not sure if that counts. And no, I've never seen Tom Cruise before in person ever. Thank you for that question. Mama Doodle, Maman Doodle, Barb's back. Would you ever consider reaching out to those who wrote the Truth Rundown for an interview or a follow-up? Well, it's no secret who wrote it. It was Tom Tobin and Joe Childs. And I think one of them is still the editor for the Tampa Bay Times. I guess I'm not sure what you mean. For me to interview them or for them to interview me? See, if the question is, would I ever want to be interviewed by them? The answer is no. I already put out all the information that I want on my channel. I have found cooperating with media interviews to be pointless. Who are you reaching? You're not already reaching through your channel. As far as me interviewing them, I mean, I'll tell you what. If either of those guys ever actually wanted to be interviewed about what it was like to go through all that and what it took, I would love that. But I got to tell you, these people aren't people who seek the limelight. I actually I forget which one of them I met with. I met with one of them for lunch one time, and yeah, I mean, they're very low key, humble people. They don't seek the spotlight in any way, shape, or form. Most journalists, real journalists, don't. But I would love to do an interview like that. I would probably never bother asking them, though. I don't know why. Maybe one of these days I will. It would be a fascinating interview, wouldn't it? Let's see, guys. We still got about 1,400 people watching right now. Hey, guys, if you're watching right now, do me a favor. Hit that like button. And if you happen to be watching and you're not yet subscribed, consider hitting that subscribe button, guys. It makes me feel better. Oh, let's see. All right, we're getting close to the end here, but let me look for another good one. Okay, let's see what this means. Do you think there are long-wanted people hiding out in Scientology? Maybe even on the lam from other countries? Ooh, I like that question. Of course, it's always possible. But here's why I'm going to lean towards no. Or at least lean towards saying this is something that doesn't have a high likelihood of being a thing, if you know what I mean. Just because you're in Scientology doesn't mean you're hidden from the authorities. Like, if somebody comes to this country or goes from this country to another country, you're still, it's not like, what are you using, a secret identity? You know what I mean? Like, you're still in the system. And so, like, okay, so, and if someone from another country was running from the law and they wanted to come to the US, in order to do that, again, you'd probably have to have a fake identity, right? And if you were going to come to the US under a fake identity, what would be the point of getting into Scientology? And getting into Scientology usually means being a Scientology public. And if that's what you're doing, that's not hiding in any way, shape, or form. And if anything, you're just throwing your money away, you know, paying the cult for services. So let's see, if someone joined the Sea Org, would that somehow shield them from the authorities? Huh. That's an interesting thing to consider. I got to tell you, life in the Sea Org sucks. So I just feel like if you're running from the law and if you're hiding, there's better, more enjoyable ways to do that than joining the Sea Org. And plus, once Scientology found out the truth about you, they really wouldn't want to keep you around. You're really more of a liability than you are an asset. So all told, I think this is really not likely to be a thing. Thank you for the question. Okay, let's say, what does this? Freebird says, download videos as I'm a YouTube member. Does this still financially support you? I think so, but what's the point of downloading videos? All it does is take up memory on your phone. What is the point of doing that? I know you're not downloading them to avoid watching ads, because if you're a YouTube member, you already don't see ads. So I don't know what the point. I'm a little confused by the question, but I'm inclined to say yes, whatever you're doing, it still helps the channel. By the way, interesting thing to know. If I put, like, just theoretically speaking, if I put like 100 ads on a video, or if YouTube puts 100 ads on one of my videos, and you're a YouTube member, and so you don't see ads, but you watch my video, my channel still gets paid for the ads you would have seen. Isn't that incredible? So yeah, that's why I'm inclined to think that no matter what it is you're talking about, it's still helpful to the channel as long as you're watching my videos. Thank you for that. And thank you for supporting the channel. Ooh, I am getting phlegmy. Hold on, guys. My. Doesn't want to go away. Okay. Emma Robson says, question, really, I'm in the midst of the UK unrest. If they try to volunteer shit, I am all over that in Northeast England. Aaron, I will pay for your flight to join me protesting. Don't threaten me with a good time. Emma, if you see any Scientology folks out there in volunteer ministers' shirts and jackets, oh my God, especially if you see them doing this with the camera crew following them around, please bust out your phone and record every single minute of it. If they try to take advantage of this stuff for propaganda purposes, we've got to shine a bright spotlight of truth on it. And wow, and I would really appreciate your help in working with you to do that. So that would be amazing. Kelly, BC, could you talk about the suspected OSA op that is going on? Kelly, I'm not sure specifically what you're talking about, other than the fact that I think it's safe to say that the #1 priority of OSA right now is how to get rid of the protesters and how to get rid of SPTV. The best way for OSA to run an op on SPTV is to act as agent provocateurs in the live chat community. Also, when you have these other platforms like, Reddit and Discord, where all of the most vitriolic and hateful and just disgusting attacks on SPTV creators are done by people who are completely anonymous. It doesn't even matter if some of those people are like honest actors. The truth is, OSA is still going to exploit the hell out of the situation. So when you have anonymous people interacting with other anonymous people, all of whom don't know each other in real life, even if some of those people are just people with honest criticisms or, honest, when I say honest actors, I just mean not literally working for Scientology. It's going to get to a point where no one's able to know the difference, because you wouldn't ever know which one of those people who are hiding behind anonymous handles, you would never know which one of those people were working for OSA and which ones weren't. And OSA acts in a way to just pour gasoline on tiny little fires to make them into forest fires. OSA's specialty is just to distract people off of what OSA doesn't want them to be doing. So OSA doesn't want people exposing Scientology. OSA doesn't want a platform like this to be successful in lifting up other platforms and signal boosting other voices. OSA wants to make spaces as dirty and disgusting and unpleasant as possible. And there's plenty of people like Stephanie Hutchinson, for example, who's already doing a very good job of that. OSA just exploits the hell out of those situations. And it's what they do, and they're always going to do it. It's one of the reasons why recently you've seen me just get back to focusing on what it is I always did on this channel in the first place, which was doing my own videos about my own subjects and just getting back to what it was I used to be doing. Because I built this channel on my own. Nobody helped me build my channel. I did this on my own. Once I started having success on this channel, I did my best to help grow other channels. I'm just a guy who some people will tell you never really did anything important in Scientology, never really achieved anything in Scientology, never held any important posts in Scientology. And I go, okay, then you tell me why I have the biggest channel. I don't know. The thing is, the one thing no former Scientologist should ever try to do is try to convince others of how important they were when they were in a cult. Like, if you think anyone cares about how important you were when you were in a cult, you probably still think the cult means something. So my point is, I grew this channel on my own, doing my own thing. It brings me personal pleasure to help others have success in this space. But at the end of the day, I'm just going to go back and doing my own thing whenever the bullshit just becomes too much bullshit. And that's why for the last few weeks, that's exactly what I've been focusing on. Now, the truth is, you're never going to be able to control what other people say in other spaces. I don't spend any time of my day worrying about what's happening in other spaces. I don't give a damn. Is it going to keep me from doing what I'm here to do on my channel? No. Then why would I worry about it or try to control it? So I don't. And the best remedy to any OSA ops is to ignore it and do whatever the hell it is, continue doing whatever the hell it is that you're doing that OSA would not want you to do. just keep doing it. Because if you stop doing it and you get distracted off on other stuff, then you're letting them win. And at the end of the day, nothing can keep us from just continuing to do what we're already doing here on YouTube. If people want to lose their fucking minds over here about this or that, or be like, did you hear what this person said? Or, oh my God, he wouldn't even answer this question. And oh my God, can you believe this person got blocked? And oh my God, do you know what my response is to drama? Is to completely ignore it and tune out and keep doing my own thing. And that's what I'm doing, guys. So when you talk about OSA ops this, OSA ops that, at the end of the day, I don't give a good goddamn what ops OSA is running. I don't care if Stephanie Hutchinson is on Scientology's payroll or if she's just an evil, despicable, mentally ill, deranged lunatic who just takes joy in trying to destroy former Scientologists who are trying to expose Scientology. I don't care if she's cashing checks for David Miscavige or if she just sits there getting off on hurting people all day. It makes no difference to me. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, and nothing and no one can ever make me stop that. And so, you know, look, you guys all know that certain times I will take the opportunity to call out people who need to be called out. The only reason I ever spend any time doing that is because, honestly, I think as the person in this community with the biggest channel, I think in some cases, sometimes people expect me to warn the community about people who they need to be warned about. Okay. And, you know, yeah, I will resist the urge to mention a few names right now because there's no names I could mention to you right now that I haven't already mentioned in the past. And the truth is, and I genuinely feel this way, drama is not good for business. It might seem like it is. It might seem like it is. It might seem like you get a lot of views. Those aren't the kind of views that you want. They're really not. The only people who care about drama are people who are already members of the community and who have already decided that's what they like about the community. The thing is, that's okay if that's what you're about. That's not what my channel is about. So if I allow myself to get involved in drama, it's because I choose to. But I also have to take a step back and go, it is not the content people come to me for. And so this isn't even an attempt to tell people what kind of videos they should or should not do. It's totally okay to do drama videos. It's just not what people expect my channel to be about. It's not why I started this channel. It's not what is successful on my channel. It's not why. I'll tell you this. My goal of being David Miscavige's worst nightmare is not accomplished by doing personality-based drama content. It's just not. In fact, David Miscavige probably loves it when we do that shit. It's okay that we do that shit if it's what someone wants to do, but it's not my bag, baby. Sometimes I pick up that bag and I'll walk with it a little bit, but then I put that bag down and I go, it's not my bag, baby. And that is why for the last few weeks, I have tried to be like, okay, can we get back to the good old days? Can we get back to what got this party started in the first place, which is current events, talking about Scientology, explaining certain parts of Scientology, trying to reach a new audience, reaching as many people as possible, showing Scientologists who are still in the cult that life is pretty good out here, guys. And we're not just a bunch of evil, hateful monsters, which is, what Scientologists are told we are. And it's like, look, life is good. Life is great. There are always people who are going to try to take you down, pull you into their bullshit, get you involved in other people's bullshit. It can be very addicting and hard to avoid that pull. And you guys know, I've been involved in it. So I'm not like saying like, oh, I'm the good one here. But the truth is, the circumstances that I have gotten involved in it, it has been a specific choice on my part. It is not because it's good for business. It's not good for business, guys. I mean, just look at all the drama that's been going on for the last few months and look at my subscriber numbers. Okay. My subscribers have not budged in months. Do you think that makes me feel good? That doesn't make me feel good. That makes me feel like shit. So if I do a video that gets like 30 or 40,000 views because people tuned in for the drama, but like, you know, I lose subscribers, I don't wake up the next morning feeling good. I feel like it was a, you know, a self-inflicted wound. You know what I mean? So I just don't do it, you guys. I just don't do it. I'm over it. Nobody gives a shit really what I think about this person or that person or that person. I mean, let's be real. Some people give a shit, but you know, look, my videos are intended to reach as wide of an audience as possible. And anyone who I can throw shade at in my videos, 95% of the people who will watch that video have no fucking idea who I'm talking about. So why would I talk about them? The truth is, I only ever do those videos if I feel like I have to. And let's be honest, guys, I almost never do those videos, ever. I mean, I have, do I have like 1,900 videos on my channel? How many of those videos is me calling out some other person in this community? I don't know, what, 15? Maybe 15 out of 1,900? I don't know, guys. I don't even know what I don't even remember what the question was. What was the damn question? Barb just wanted to make her presence felt. Okay. Does it matter to you? Not to me. He says, sorry for the email dump, but it helped. Thanks. Oh, I'm going to respond to you. I promise. I got your emails, and I'm going to help you out with that, with the thing you emailed me about. I promise. Dave's Deep Dives says, I'm not going to read it out because I just said I'm not going to shit on people right now. Blow drill Dylan Gill says OSA and their controlled opposition has found that never backing down, even when they are wrong, can be a winning tactic. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I do feel the need to clarify or to add on. I have no problem with any other former Scientologist who feels the need to do content calling out some other former Scientologist. I certainly feel that I've been justified in the circumstances that I've decided to do it. It's not my place to tell someone else that they're not justified in doing it. I'm not trying to set some moral standard that, you know, like, look, people do what they feel they need to do. I guess my message is, if you feel it needs to be done, do it. But as the person, at least for now, with the biggest channel here, and William has passed me, but William has a different channel. I do genuinely feel that it's not good for business. And when I say business, I don't mean ad revenue. I mean the business of being David Miscavige's worst nightmare. And I do truly believe that despite any personality-based drama that exists in the SPTV community, I do believe we are all in the business of being David Miscavige's worst nightmare. The more attention we can focus on that, I think the more success we will all have as a community. Yes. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I feel like that's a pretty good place to end it. Wow, we filled 2 hours, you guys. I'm excited. I didn't know if I could fill 2 hours, but we did. I still got a lot of energy left. I think I got to go to the gym, you guys. I got to go to the gym. Nora's Gen Exercise channel has got me freaking, I'm like inspired. You guys have no idea. I didn't think, I was like, Nora's starting a second channel. What's this? And then I saw her. God, Nora is hilarious, you guys. No, everything Nora does is funny. Even Nora weighing herself was like, I was laughing my ass off. You guys got to check out Nora's Gen Exercise video. I hope I'm getting the channel. I hope I'm getting the channel name right. But all right, guys, this has been a blast. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, guys. You know, it'd be nice if I could get back up to 242,000 subs. You know, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. All right, how do I end this thing? I think I got to do it from my phone. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. This has been a lot of fun. Let's do it again soon, y'all. Talk to you soon. Have a great night.